Once upon a time, there was a boy named Joseph who lived in a village named Adanne. Joseph was a hard-working farmer and a decent son to his parents. He was known to be very kind and compassionate, but he had a very serious issue. He was unusually very slim, like he had HIV, and he had a face full of pimples. These pimples were so bad that it was as if he had chicken pox all over his face. Now Joseph loved women very much. He adored the women of his village and would consistently give them compliments when they passed him by on the streets of the village. But because of his condition, all the girls would ignore his advances because he was very ugly and disgusting in their eyes. Anytime he passed a group of girls, they would all turn and begin to gossip about him loudly to his hearing, making remarks about how desperate and irritating his advances were. Some would even throw stones at him, sometimes out of spite. And most people in the village considered it to be an abomination to be associated with him. But this never broke Joseph's spirit. He wouldn't mind them because he felt that there was nothing he could do about his condition. He couldn't stop making advances at girls because he was attracted to them, hoping that one day one of them would see him for who he truly was. So he kept on living his life as a hard-working farmer. One day when Joseph was in the forest, getting some firewood to use to cook, he heard a loud sound coming from a nearby bush. "Help! Oh God, please help!" the voice screamed. So he hurriedly went to investigate where the noise was coming from and who was making it. When he got there, he found out that it was a beautiful girl who was ambushed by a big hyena. The hyena cornered the girl in a tight spot and slowly approached her as she screamed. So Joseph immediately called the girl's attention with a loud shout. "Hello, my name is Joseph. I'm here to help. Please don't make any sudden movements or the beast will strike you." The girl responded, "Don't leave me alone here, please. I'm so terrified that my body is frozen with fear. Please don't allow me to be eaten by this hyena. I am an only child to my parents." Joseph replied, "Don't worry, I won't let that happen." So Joseph courageously carried a big stick and charged at the hyena to draw its attention. When the hyena saw Joseph coming at full speed, it got scared and cowardly ran away. Joseph had saved the beautiful girl and hurriedly grabbed her hand to take her to a safe spot in the farm, so she could calm her nerves down. When he brought her there, he asked, "Beautiful maiden, what were you doing wandering about the forest like that? Don't you know this forest is filled with several wild and dangerous animals?" The girl replied as her breathing was still fast-paced. I know, I just got lost. I ran away here to cry my eyes out and be alone. But I guess the hyena saw me lonely and decided to keep me company." Joseph then replied to her, "Ha ha ha, you are quite a funny lady. So the hyena was keeping you company, you say? So why were you screaming as it was coming closer and closer? Perhaps it wanted to ask you what happened that made you so sad." As he said this, both Joseph and the girl looked at each other and laughed earnestly. After laughing, Joseph asked the girl, "So my name is Joseph. What is yours, by the way?" "Nice to meet you, Joseph. Oh, my name is Adanne, by the way. I hail from this village." Joseph then responded, "Oh, I see, a maiden from this village, you say. So if I may ask, and I know I'm not a hyena by any means, what made you so sad that you felt running into this dangerous forest alone was the only solution?" Joseph asked. Adanne then began talking. "Well, I was talking with a group of my friends, and then they started insulting me that I am unattractive and unappealing to men, because I am yet to get a boyfriend." Joseph immediately responded, "Well, that's outrageous. I mean, look at you. You are the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life, and I am not just pulling your legs." Adanne blushed. "You really see me that way?" she asked. "Of course I do. I mean, why do you think I saved you? You think it's out of the kindness of my heart," Joseph sarcastically said. Adanne laughed at Joseph's sarcasm and then responded to him, "Well, Joseph, if you think I'm beautiful, wait till you see my friends, Precious and Amaka. They are beyond beautiful. They pull all the men in the village and always get gifts and attention from men." "Wait a minute, Precious, as in I know those girls," Joseph responded. "You do?" Adanne asked. "Yes, I do," Joseph answered. They are among some of the girls who nag me and rain insults on me in the village each time I try to make advances at them or compliment their beauty, because of my body stature. Although I do not hate them, I find them to be quite rude. But what I don't understand is why they would make you feel ugly or inferior to them. To me, you are far more beautiful than they are. Joseph said. Really, you think that way about me? Adanne asked. Yes, of course I do, and you know what, I think it's time you get a new set of friends. Because obviously, your old ones don't appreciate you. But where would I begin to find new friends in this lonely village? Adanne asked. Well, for a start, I'll be your friend, Joseph responded. I promise to not insult you or make you feel inferior to your former friends, as long as you promise not to insult me or make me feel inferior too, Joseph said. Of course, Joseph. Adanne responded. So Joseph and Adanne from that day henceforth became the closest of friends in the village. They would visit each other in all sorts of places like the farm, the forest, and even Adanne's house when her parents were not around. During their time together, they would share personal secrets to each other, support each other emotionally, and be there for each other. It was as if they were different sides of the same coin. They complemented each other in almost every aspect. And soon enough their friendship began to blossom into something more. Something both of them had longed for a very long time. But in the midst of all these good times, Adanne's former friends were about to make a comeback in Adanne's life. One day on a sunny afternoon, when Adanne was alone at home, she heard a knock on her door. She asked who it was, and then Amaka and Precious's voices responded to her. It is us, Oo. Adanne, please open the door. What are you doing here? Adanne asked as she screamed at the door. We came to see you, Adanne, Precious response. We've missed you a lot, and we have not been seeing you around any of our hangout spots. Please open the door. I don't want to see you guys. Adanne screamed from inside. You guys hurt me, all because I didn't have a boyfriend. Adanne said. We know, and we are sorry. Now please open the door so that we can properly apologize. Amaka said from outside. So Adanne later gave in and opened the door for them. When they came in, they berated Adanne with thousands of apologies, trying to get her back in the friend group. Adanne initially refused their offer, but after much pressure, she gave in and they all reconciled. The following day, as the reunited friends were hanging out, Precious asked Adanne if she finally got a boyfriend when she was away from them. No, I haven't, Adanne responded, but there is this guy I have been talking to for some time now. I really like him, and I think we have a strong connection. I'm sensing he feels the same way and might ask me out for soon. A crush I see. Amaka chipped in. I hope he is handsome. I hope he is rich. She asked Adanne. Well, he is handsome to me and he might not be rich now, but he is so hardworking I know he will become rich later in life. Adanne responded. Immediately Adanne finished responding, Precious and Amaka burst out laughing hysterically. So you are still this naive? Precious asked Adanne. So this your Prince Charming, what is his name? She asked. Adanne immediately responded. Well, I am not naive and his name is Joseph for your information. Immediately she said his name. Both Precious and Amaka were struck with silence for a couple of seconds. Amaka then asked, Wait, is it the Joseph that looks like an HIV patient? The one that has a face full of pimples, the ugliest and most disgusting guy in the village? Please don't say it is him. Well, I wouldn't associate his character with such vile and hurtful statements like you just said, but yes, it is that Joseph. And for a matter of fact, I hope you know he can't help looking like that. That is how he naturally is. What actually matters is what is inside his heart. Precious then quickly responded to Adanne. Who care about what is in his heart? All that matters is how he looks, and he looks disgusting. Adanne, you can't be friends with that guy, you know better. And why not? Why can't I be friends with him? Precious. Adanne asked. Precious then responded, well, for one, he is ugly, 2, he is poor, and 3, you know everyone in the village secretly looks down on him because of his stature, so associating with him will inevitably rub off some so that bad will on you. Well, he treated me better than both of you ever did, and all these things you said about him might be true, but that's the more reason why I think he needs me, a true friend to him. Imagine how lonely he must be feeling with all the villagers treating him like an outcast. Look, Precious, you are not Jesus Christ. Stop having a savior complex. Cut that guy off before it is too late. Amaka chipped in. Never. I would never do such a wicked thing to Joseph. Adanne responded. Very well. Then if we see you and him together, we would call the attention of the villagers and disgrace both of you, since you don't want to hear word. Precious told Adanne. You would never, Amaka responded. Oh yes, I will. Don't try me, Adanne, you know what I am capable of, Precious said. Adanne then responded, I can't believe I forgave you guys. You guys are just as wicked and heartless as you were before. She then walked out of their presence in contempt. In the evening, Adanne got a letter slid under her house door. It was a letter from Joseph, asking her to meet him in the forest the following day at a designated time, stating in the letter that there was something special he wanted to tell her. Adanne would happily read the letter, already imagining what the special thing Joseph was going to tell her was. Throughout the night, she was restless in anticipation of the next day. Goosebumps filled her skin as she created different scenarios in her head of what their interaction was going to be like. And during this time, the night dragged on for too long, like tomorrow was wasting time to come for her. But alas, the following day eventually came. Adanne quickly prepared and waited for the designated time Joseph instructed they should meet, and when that time came, she left straight for the forest. As she was heading out, she was unaware that Precious and Amaka had sneakily followed her at her back to see where she was going. Now, when Adanne arrived at the spot Joseph had instructed her to come to, they both met and hugged each other. They began catching up with each other about what they had been doing the past couple of days. Then all of a sudden, Joseph disrupted the flow of the conversation and started telling Adanne, Adanne, the past few months we've spent as friends has been so fulfilling. I feel like we have known each other our whole lives, and you filled a void in my life that I have been longing for ever since I knew how to say ABC. What are you saying, Joseph? Adanne asked, pretending she was oblivious. Joseph then responded, What I am saying, Adanne, is that I love you. You are the purest, kindest, most beautiful, and trustworthy girl I know. I feel I was blessed when you became my friend. And that is why now I want to take things a step further with you. Adanne, would you marry me? I know traditionally I'm supposed to ask you to be my girlfriend first, but I don't want to waste any of that time. I'm sure in my heart you are the one for me, and I know we will figure out the rest along the way. So Adanne, the love of my life, I ask again, would you marry me? After he said this, Adanne began blushing uncontrollably as she exclaimed, Yes! Yes! I will marry you. They both immediately hugged, and Adanne kissed him passionately. As the new couple enjoyed their newfound status, Precious and Amaka had already made plans to ruin their moment. You see, when Precious and Amaka arrived at the site with Adanne, they hid under a bush unknown to Joseph and Adanne as they watched them. When they saw that Joseph had begun professing his love to Adanne, Precious sent Amaka to go and alert all the villagers they could find and bring them to the site to come and see the spectacle. So after Adanne and Joseph kissed, Precious sprouted out of the nearby bushes and shouted, Shame! 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 On you, Adanne! How can you accept marrying this beast? I can't believe you. You are a disgrace to our group. And you even kissed his pimple-filled face. Disgusting. You both are disgusting, and you both deserve each other. How the hell is our love your business? Have you been following us, Precious? Leave here instantly if you know what is good for you. Adanne replied her. Or what, Adanne, what would happen? Look, for your information, I have already sent Amaka to alert the villagers. All of them are already on their way here to behold this abomination. I would advise you to deny this retarded man in front of the villagers and preserve your honor as a maiden in this village, or else you would become a castaway like Joseph. Precious told Adanne. What? How can you do such a thing? You wouldn't dare. And for your information, I would never betray Joseph like that. Adanne responded as she grabbed Joseph's hand in solidarity. And as she was still talking, Amaka arrived at the site with a great number of villagers she had informed of what was going on, as Precious instructed. When the villagers arrived, they majorly consisted of maidens, and when they saw both Adanne and Joseph together, they began whispering to themselves. So this might be true, the girl is really in love with that disgusting man. It's unbelievable. As Adanne saw the villagers arrive, she was gripped with a great fear, and she immediately detached her hand from Joseph's hand in shame. So one of the girls in the crowd of villagers asked Adanne openly, "Adanne, daughter of Agnes and Luke, is it true that you have been infatuating with this outcast? Are the rumors we have been hearing factual? Yes or no? Tell us, if true, you know the consequences, you would be treated like an outcast like him. If false, then you would tell us why Amaka and Precious found you two alone in this middle of the forest." As Adanne heard this, she was completely terrified. She began considering what it would mean to equally be treated as an outcast like Joseph, just because of her affiliation with him. She thought of what her parents would think of her and what that would mean. So, in a moment of weakness, she abandoned her heart and replied to the villagers, "No, it's false. I have no affiliation with this man. I don't even know him, talkless of infatuating with him." As Joseph heard this, his eyes sunk in utter sadness and betrayal. He couldn't believe that those words were coming out of Adanne's mouth. But then the villagers asked Adanne, "So why were two of you alone in the bush when Amaka and Precious found you?" Adanne immediately replied, "He kidnapped me on my way to my parents' farm, and then he tried to grope me. Thankfully that was when Amaka and Precious arrived. When they arrived, they didn't understand what was going on, so they assumed I was flirting with the outcast. I wasn't. I would never subject myself to such a vile act." When Adanne finished talking, Precious and Amaka looked at themselves and smiled. They then began defending Adanne's story, telling the villagers that they might have misunderstood what was going on between Adanne and Joseph, that Adanne was actually a victim of Joseph's desperate act to sleep with a woman. When Joseph saw all that went down, tears began pouring out of his eyes. He pleaded with Adanne, "Adanne, please tell the villagers that this isn't true. Please don't do me like this, please. I can't bear these allegations if they believe what you are saying." As he said this, Adanne looked into his eyes with shame as she hardened her heart and responded, "Shut up, outcast, you tried to grope me, stop pretending. These villagers would never believe your lies." After she said this, the villagers believed her story and resolved to arrest Joseph for trying to grope her. Immediately Joseph began running away from their midst in tears as the villagers chased him. They chased him for hours as he ran into the evil forest of their village. But eventually, he lost them in the forest and the villagers gave up and went home. Now, in the later hours of that day, while in the forest, hurt and heartbroken, with bruises all over his body from maneuvering the harsh terrain of the forest, he laid there hopelessly under a tree, as he had given up on life. But soon after, a herd of hyenas surrounded him as he laid on the tree and began drawing closer to him. When one of the hyena's legs made a loud noise as it stepped on a broken branch, it woke Joseph up, and he then saw the hyenas drawing closer to him with every step as he laid helpless. Joseph, already defeated, exclaimed, "Go ahead, beast, eat me, devour me. At least I know I am wanted by something, even if it's a beast that wants to eat me." As Joseph said this, he closed his eyes, awaiting to be eaten. That was until he heard a voice. "Why would you think I would want to eat you?" Joseph opened his eyes to hear where the voice was coming from, and lo and behold, it was one of the hyenas talking. Joseph assumed that he must be going crazy because of the loss of blood from his injuries. But the hyena assured him that he was sane. "Fear not, human, for you are not crazy. I am here to help. I've been here to help the whole time. Even when you chased me away the first time, I was here to help," the hyena told Joseph. Joseph then replied, "What do you mean, strange beast? Are you teasing me? Why not just go ahead and eat me and put me out of my misery? Please, I wish to disappear from this world." As Joseph was talking, the hyena took a human-like form in the presence of Joseph. It was a figure of a beautiful, mystic woman, adorned in red and white clothing. The figure started talking. "Joseph, fear not. My name is Ashori, the goddess of the betrayed and hopeless. I came here because I sensed your sorrow in this forest, just as I appeared to your female friend when I also sensed her sorrow from getting betrayed. So what happened, Joseph? Who betrayed you?" the goddess asked. "A goddess, you say? Well, that doesn't impress me," Joseph replied. "You would still find a way to betray me, just like Adanne, just like everybody else my whole life. Please help me disappear from this world. You said you are a goddess, right? Please use your goddess powers to destroy me. I beg of you." Joseph asked the goddess desperately. "Joseph of the humans, I can grant your request, but first you have to explain to me how you got to such a harsh resolution. Who betrayed you, and why are you so sad?" the goddess asked. So Joseph agreed to tell the goddess the full story. Now, after Joseph told the goddess the full story, she was driven to tears and compassion for Joseph. So she made him an offer. "Joseph, rise. I have heard your story and I feel for you. I would grant you your wish, but in a special way. Instead of killing you, I would grant you the power of invisibility, so that you can seek revenge on all those who cast you away because of your appearance." So Joseph stood up and was given the power of invisibility by the goddess. After Joseph's interaction with the goddess, he left the forest and headed straight for the village, to exact revenge on all those who cast him away in the past. These consisted majorly of the girls who looked down on him all his life. So in the days that followed, with the power of invisibility, he began forcefully sleeping with every girl he hated. Starting with Precious, who was in her parents' house alone at night when she felt a great force overwhelm her and take advantage of her. He then proceeded to Amaka, who was at her parents' farm, when she suddenly felt the presence of a strange man overshadow her and have his way on her. Gradually but surely Joseph went ahead to exact his revenge on all the girls in the village who formerly cast him away. The once kind-hearted, compassionate Joseph was gone. Betrayal and heartbreak had turned him into an invisible monster. Soon after Joseph had successfully slept with every girl he hated in the village, it remained one. The one who betrayed him the most and broke his already fragile heart. The one who broke the promise she made to never hurt him. Adanne, his fiancée, who betrayed him just moments after their engagement. So that night he visited her house unsuspectingly with his invisible powers clouded with rage and sadness. He then proceeded into her room to do to her what he had done to the rest. But when he entered her room, what he saw would shock him and break his heart all over again simultaneously. Joseph would see Adanne depressed and crying, with his pictures all over her room. She didn't know he was with her because of his invisibility powers, so he went round her room to investigate why she was doing this. During his inspection, he found her diary. When he glanced through it, he found pages upon pages of how she wrote of how sorry she was for betraying him, how she regretted her actions, and how she swore never to forgive herself for betraying him. This drove Joseph to tears. So she regrets what she did to me? He thought to himself. But when he closed his eyes and replayed that day Adanne betrayed him in his head, he hardened his heart and resolved to exact his revenge on her as he had planned to do. So with his eyes full of tears, as he was about to pounce on her, he heard Adanne's voice. "Joseph, is that you, my love?" Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave what you learned from it in the comments, and like and subscribe for more videos. If this video gets to 5,000 views, I will do a part 2, so share the video to your friends. Here is another story I'm sure you'll enjoy. Click to watch now.